come to your life. Help me to decide. Help me make the most of freedom and of pleasure. Nothing ever lasts forever. Everybody wants to rule the world. There's a room where the light won't find you, holding hands while the walls come tumbling down. When they do, I'll be right behind you. Everybody wants to rule the world. Everybody wants to rule the world. Everybody wants to rule the world.
Welcome back to Champions Spring. Our Game 1 MVP is Trace for that epic Lissandra play, and overall, just everybody outplaying the Empire in that game.
That's right, giving you the Trace face in that picture.
Trace face.
Which is one of absolutely zero emotion.
That's true. Complete disregard. You mean nothing to Trace. You are just another number in his scoreline.
Didn't have the greatest scoreline. This play in particular, so take a look at this. Ults himself, Lantern's going to come through from Chang, flashes over, E over the wall, escapes after moving. Wow. And just a really well-timed series of abilities from Trace to get out of that sticky situation. And here we go. Once again, not going to follow up on that E. Forces the cocoon, actually. That was preempted by Crush. He just walks up and ults him after that. Easy as can be.
Not bad. Then, the most entertaining moment in this game should be in just a moment. Maybe we won't see it.
We saw part of it.
A little bit. Great Lux ult for the double kill for Edge, but in the end, Edge...
Great ultimate on the Edge right there.
Yeah.
Doesn't result in a kill, but does buy some time for his allies to continue taking out these turrets. You know what's funny about Trace, too, is he's known for the entertainment factor on his stream. He's a really popular streamer.
You wouldn't think that by looking at his pro play, would you? Yeah.
You would think that by looking at his pro play or by looking at his face when he's in the booth. But if you guys want a good laugh, you can look up on YouTube Trace Draws Faker. And there is a YouTube clip that has English subtitles on it, and it is absolutely hilarious as he's trying to draw this picture of Faker on his stream from a photograph of Faker. And he's talking to his teammates and his coaches while he's doing it. It's very, very funny.
I think I've seen that one, and it is hilarious. What's not so funny, unfortunately, though, is the Empire's position in this series, down a game, and they need to do a lot to come back. And as we go into picks and bans for game number 2 between Jin Air and Empire, you really got to wonder if there is anything, actually, that Empire can do.
Yeah.
After being so thoroughly outplayed game 1.
Yeah, no substitutions either.
Right.
In this game, so nobody trying to make a change quite yet. Trace is also actually one of the older players we have. He's 26.
Yeah.
So he is one of, if not the oldest player in Champions now, especially with Kayn and Zephyr no longer on rosters.
Yep.
So back to the picks and bans. Tahm Kench, Alistar, and Ryze. Coming through on the blue side for Jin Air. Empire so far, again with the Graves, a wise decision. GP, and is the Lulu going to be banned, or are they going to go with Quinn? They've been forced to ban the Gangplank this time.
Banning Quinn would be interesting. But, I mean, I think you ban Lissandra here. Yep. I think Lissandra caused way too many problems for Empire in game 1.
You see the pick rate right there at the bottom of your screen, but they may prioritize that Kalista, and that's what they're going to do, taking it over the Alistar, which was first picked by Empire.
Yeah.
in game number 1, so they're going to hand that over alongside presumably Lucian as they move away from the Tristana pick here.
Would you maybe consider a Thresh instead? Oh, they can grab the Kindred for Crush, I suppose, too.
I think not taking... Oh, the Alistair's banned, excuse me. So they can't take that right away. So they could take the Thresh and try and deny that pick.
I think they will.
From Che, and then they will take a Kindred for Crush. So really switching gears in game number 2.
Yeah. He ended up with the Elise in game 1. Very different. Yep, they will lock in the Thresh, too.
So Lulu's still available, yet falling surprisingly far down the draft right now. And actually, Winged is just going to lock in Lee Sin immediately in response, seeing that Kindred. So this is going to be one of those very few games with neither a Rek'Sai nor an Elise.
Cool.
Despite neither of them being banned.
I think it's going to be aggressive. This game is going to be fast, furious, man.
Is it?
Yeah, I hope.
Fast and Furious, just like the new Star Trek movie?
That's right. It's too fast, too furious, some have even said.
2-star, 2-trek.
2-star, 2-trek.
I like how the word trek implies some sort of lengthy journey, yet we have the
like
Fast
maybe a
and Furious.
5-year mission.
Yeah.
But
Measured pace.
Yeah.
Yet we have a Fast and Furious director. What a terrible decision.
well, I mean, I just feel like that means Star Wars wins because we got one of our fans to infiltrate Star Trek, make a Star Trek movie like Star Wars, and then go on.
It wasn't
to
like
direct
Star Wars. It was terrible. It was just straight up bad. Anyway,
action-packed.
it was terrible.
So Star Wars wins. Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
Great. Please take him away from Star Trek. I agree. Good riddance. Anyway, Lux and Lucian locked in here. They have the Lux Lucian combination, so they actually have follow-up to the Lux bindings at range now. This is the more common combination we've seen alongside Lux and MF.
It makes a lot more sense than solo Lux.
Lux and Tristana, which did almost nothing in that last game. Jin Air contemplating right now giving Kuzan the Twisted Fate, and they could just straight up take a blind Quinn for Jin Air. That would be bold for Trace.
Do it, man. All right.
Well,
what's happening?
They banned it in game 1, so apparently Trace is enough of a threat in solo queue on Quinn to justify both a ban in the first game of the series and a blind pick in the second.
Pretty exciting stuff. And is it going to be the Poppy for Hippo?
Hippo has to find something he can work with here. That Hecarim taking it into a losing matchup was really underwhelming in the last game.
You know, it's with some of these newer teams, you do see odd picks because this is what these guys have been playing in solo queue for so long. They're used to that. I mean, the Olaf would fit right in there too.
Oh no, please no more top Nautilus.
Oh, I've got a feeling it's
well,
going to be locked in though.
At the very least, that's going to provide a lot of crowd control for the 280 carries. But this is going back. How did EM Fire draft in their first 2 games? Top Nautilus, double 80 carry. We're seeing the exact same thing they did, and they didn't win either of those games either. So when they went up against Samsung, the top Nautilus with 280 carries wasn't enough. They have a strong poke line. They have a lot of damage, but they haven't been able to make it work in terms of team fights. And now they're in a situation where they have to deal with Trace's split pushing. And how many answers do they have to Quinn's split push, Doa?
I would think 0.
Well, you'd be right. And you know what else is fun?
What?
Trace is not running TP right now. We will see if he changes that. If he runs Flash Ignite, that will be really weird. And the first time we have seen that in probably a year.
He's got behind enemy lines, man. He can just scoot around the map.
It's true. You know, that's a great point. You don't need necessarily TP, especially if you're running Twisted Fate, because you have 2 TPs on TF. So this is definitely a strategy that Jin Air has prepared. He's not going to switch. He is going to play Ignite.
Cool. All right.
Oh, I'm really excited now for this game. Jin Air, we saw their Graves top attempt to really push forward, make a different strategy that they had really practiced with the 380 carries. They refused to fight, took objectives, played very well against SK Telecom to take the victory. And now here's Trace running Ignite for the first time in Korea in a very, very long time. And you're right, he will be using that mobility from his ultimate in lieu of teleport.
Yep.
But this only works with TF. Great draft from Jitter. I really like what we're seeing.
Well, we'll see if it's enough for the 2-0 against the Empire. It's time to get in the game.
The world.
And we will see who can rule Summoner's Rift at least in this second game between the Jin Green Wings and EM Fire. It is an interesting draft from Jin running that top laner without the teleport with the Ignite. We didn't really see a lot of that in the past. I would say maybe the most recent was like top Hecarims that were doing it back with a top Smite.
No, you'd run.
We saw it once in a while.
You'd run Smite teleport though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So it's been I can't remember the last time I saw a Smiteless top laner in Champions. It's been a really, really long time. But let's talk about why people run teleport in the top lane. So why do we run teleport in the top lane? Well, first off, part of it is lane swaps, and this can really backfire on you. They're going to try and preemptively call the swap here. There's no deep wards in, so they don't know where Trace is. So in response, Jin is going to try and mind game them by putting their duo lane top in anticipation of EM Fire doing the same. Now, they're going to be right, but if they're not right, sometimes in these lane swap situations, it can result in a bad time for the top laner because you may miss several waves of CS as a result of not having TP, depending on how the lane swap goes. But it's interesting to note, the way that standard lane swaps have been playing out with the fast pushing of the turret and the jungle follow, you haven't really needed TP to get into lane or to catch any of these waves. So this is a really interesting assumption that Jin is making right here.
Well, I think it'd be honestly really good for the game if we could move away from every top laner requiring teleport every single game.
It makes it much more complicated in the late game and strategically interesting to have teleport in the game.
But what if you had the option to do it or not do it?
Well, I don't think you can have it because it's a global ability. We'll see how Jin does, but it is being propped up by the nature of Twisted Fate having 2 TPs to cover any deficiencies from a top laner not having it, and also the fact that Quinn is super fast.
Right. We'll see how it works out. Winged on Lee Sin. We haven't seen Lee Sin in a while. Not as common these days, but Korea will never stop playing Lee Sin.
And Winged will never stop playing Lee Sin in particular. Right. It's still his go-to jungler.
Do you think there will ever be a time where Lee Sin will kind of fall off? I feel like there's like a generation of junglers
that go after Trace right now.
I guess so. They may get him too. Trace in a lot of trouble here.
He's
Damage on the
Crush.
But here comes Wing. And now Crush the one on the run. This is going to be first blood for Wing.
Hey, Kuzan's here with a gold card too.
Nice gold card, and that's going to be 2 kills. Kuzan with another one. Getting that Thunderlord's kill.
Wow. Well, that was a big misplay. Crush waited a really long time for that. And Winged was already in the river trying to kill the Scuttle Crab so that Kindred couldn't get the free stack off of that objective. And instead, they just answered blow for blow by Jin 2-0 as they come in. And it's dangerous to fight a Quinn or a top laner with Ignite early on. There is no damage from Nautilus. So not really going to be super successful relying on the jungler to deal the damage, especially when the Ignite will outpace what Crush is throwing at him.
Pretty much. That Ignite already working out well. Winged gonna recall in his enemy's jungle, like you do.
Well, fortunately, Trace didn't get any of the kills. That's about the nicest thing.
Nice play they're gonna bring in. Crush along with this. Have they gotten a kill onto Che? Looks like they have. So good gank by EM Fire.
Yeah, instant flash, use of 3 summoners from the duo lane. Means that they are going to take an advantage. So Crush not deterred actually by his failed gank at first.
Yeah, and that was very well coordinated. I mean, the Lantern brought him in. Cougar used his flash and Ignite to lock up Che. Easy kill.
Yeah, and they're going to get a lot of damage out of this turret. They rode a very large wave straight in there. They're going to deny a significant amount of CS. This was a nice play from EM Fire to balance out, but mispositioning there from Jin in the lane too. Even opening themselves up for that situation. where Cougar was in range to get the Lantern from that angle and flash at the same time.
Yeah. Winged able to get the Rift Scuttler on his way back into the enemy jungle. Can you go ahead and ward? And he's been taking a lot from Crush, actually.
Well, and we also see Edge, because of the teleport into the bottom lane, did manage to inch ahead when it comes to CS. But that's balanced out by the kill that was acquired by Kuzan, as well as the very significant CS lead that Trace now has. And how is Hippo going to deal with this? Even without the threat of the Ignite there, he still is trying to melee some of these minions or farm them with his E as best as he can.
Well, the Nautilus pick is just kind of odd. You just don't see Nautilus doing a lot in comps from the top lane these days.
They picked it into Quinn, so it's definitely their decision.
They want it, you know? They think that it can handle it. I mean, you could argue that the shield and stuff will help you sustain in lane against that Quinn, but what happens in the late game?
Yeah, it's certainly going to be tough. Cards over the wall to take the blue buff for Kuzan. And right back in the lane.
Yep. They wanted a binding on him because they had Crush coming up from the river, but Kuzan playing it safe.
Yeah, he has no vision there, and he has two pink wards up into the top side. He knows from the wards that Crush is not going to be in that top side jungle right now, so why even make a play? Meanwhile, we do have the flash down onto Thresh if they can get a kill there.
Try to. Wing moving over the ward, gets a slowdown onto Cougar. Soul dropping a bit of damage, but Cougar in big trouble again. No flash for this guy right now. Gonna pull Winged into the turret though, and that's gonna be a kill for Soul. Cougar lives through it.
Why did Wing stop right there? He actually just straight up stopped moving and allowed the hook to hit him and pull him back under the turret. Curious play. I'm not really sure what was going on with Winged. Take a look at that one again, see if we can perhaps figure it out.
Oh, Cougar like one auto away from being killed too. And maybe a little bit more of a commitment from Pilot Che is what Winged was expecting.
Yeah, possibly he could have been trying to just tank that on the edge of the turret radius for a finisher.
I think so. I mean, Pilot and Che just didn't go in all the way on that one.
Not. So there we go, blue buff taken now by Edge, and Jin-Air, in spite of a strong start and a strong counter gank, makes a couple of mistakes around their dual lane, and now we're just back to about even. But Trace, that's the really scary part right now, is this Quinn has been unchecked thus far, already has...
Oh, there's some damage. Man, not quite enough, but it'll certainly put Kuzan out of lane for the moment.
The crowd likes that one. Or will it? Quinn is still hovering around here, moving around the river, got a deep ward in.
You can always
Trace
TP
now
back.
Moving into the top side. They're going to try and get behind, actually. Pilot going to move up here. Here we go.
Oh, they caught Crush and Edge with the Bard ultimate. Crush still caught. He's going to get taken down. Can they get Edge as well? Winged flies in to make an attempt, but can't quite connect with it.
Well, Edge actually had to flash out of that. And a Lux without flash in lane is so vulnerable that all the pressure that Edge was putting on the mid lane is going to evaporate if he doesn't want to die. So they find a way to make this work. They actually sacrifice a few CS on the bottom side in order to do that. So EM Fire definitely didn't realize that they would be making a play with this big, big wave about to hit the bottom turret. And this is also an unlikely play, making a Dragon attempt right here when you have no pressure.
Oh, they snuck it from the back. Nice gold card onto Hippo. He's going to try to survive through the assault from Trace and Kuzan, but it's not going to work. And Trace picks up his second kill of the game. Meanwhile, Jin-Air grabs that Dragon.
Really poor awareness, actually, from the EM Fire lineup. They have wards on either side of the Dragon Pit, so they don't think that Jin-Air could be doing it, but in fact, you have a Lee Sin and a Bard, so easy to come through the back of that wall.
Yep.
And actually steal that objective away, but they should not be allowed to, while the bottom lane is pushed up, make a Dragon play and gank in the top lane at the same time. EM Fire just sort of letting him have that for free and not contesting and putting pressure on where they should be.
And this is all just kind of more of what we saw in game one, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a slow death probably for EM Fire due to being out macroed and The other team simply making better decisions, also hamstringing the top laner. Trace really looking like a star.
Yep. And Quinn not flapping at all as she moves around the map.
We'll see her flapping a little bit, Doa.
I don't think so.
Well, you will see it.
Well, I mean when she stops.
And flaps her arms, yeah. Because she flaps when she stops.
No, well, it's forward momentum. That's not a flap. We've already established this. Oh, and it's going to be a gank. Another nice play by Googer. They're going to bring Pilot in this time. Bug Splat! It's back again. Uh-oh. There may be an issue with the game.
No, they're just going to rejoin. It's only the Observer. Wow, 2 times in one night.
Yeah, I know. Lucky us, right?
Right, fix your game,
Nunu,
please.
why?
Fix your game, please.
That's right. Or at least make a more entertaining Bug Splat thing. Well, something is happening.
Can it be like
We're
Kha'Zix
watching-
getting hit with a poppy hammer? That'd be great.
We're watching Hippo maybe getting dived under the turret. Let's give you the radio play-by-play. He's moving over to the left side, tries to clear the wave, runs over to the wall, but that's away from his own base. Wing in there as well. It's going to be an easy kill for the Twisted Fate. It was not hard at all.
It wasn't.
We're watching from Wing's view right now, and it's a good view to have if you are interested in winning games.
We're watching Sickly Sin play.
Yep, Kuzan had that one. They're taking the Rift Herald now. Thank you for tuning into Radio Champions, where you'll have a chilled out evening with the generic Green Wings as they take down EM Fire. It doesn't look very hard right now. They gave up on the Rift Herald, but an easy blue buff, and they'll be right back into a lane.
It's
Thanks
okay.
for-
You don't have to go for the Rift Herald Doa when there are
That's
plenty
right.
of jungle camps to take. Your time is much better spent getting your blue buff and killing Gromp.
This program used to be supported by viewers like you.
Well played, sir.
Not anymore. Oh, we're back. Oh, good. All right. I missed my calling. I really did.
It's not too late to get on NPR, Doa,
That's true. I'll work on it.
unless they get defunded.
Yes, well, maybe we can do something about that.
Like pledging our donations.
Yeah, that helps. I've heard. NPR sponsorship income. I don't think so. I don't think it works like that.
Nope, other way, Doa.
Yeah, I think so. EM Fire
I think you
should
mean-
be able to get this top turret.
Doa sponsorship incoming.
Yep, that's right. They have to say my name once an hour on the radio then. With like how great I am. It's kind of. I got the idea from someone only a few hundred miles north of here, actually. Radio stations proclaiming how great I am 24/7.
I just use this channel for that for myself.
Oh, okay. It's true. All the other casters have to have that picture of you up on the wall. You know? It's really weird.
Well, top lane goes down. EM Fire picking up their second turret of the game. Jin Air definitely lagging behind when it comes to turrets, prioritizing these kills and the TF ganks. But also Kuzan's absence in lane has made it quite difficult for him to farm, so he's going to be suffering by about 40 in the same area as Hippo. Big difference, though, is that the kills are there. Those turrets have to start going down. There's a lot of gold stuffed in them, stuffed in the stone, I guess.
Stuffed in the stone.
It's really a not very safe place to keep your gold. You think you
That's
wouldn't put
true.
your gold in the thing that everyone is trying to destroy?
I keep my gold in high security minions.
Surely this gold will be safe if we put them in these minions and have them
just got-
walk down the lane
So the old story
and walk
right,
into some swords.
the old lore was that there were summoners, there were like novice summoners that were making the minions and sending them down lane, and apparently at the same time we're stuffing them with gold. I don't know why they do that, but
Well, you definitely don't want to, because presumably if you're making a minion, you actually want it to be on the side that you're representing. So why would you put gold in there for your enemies?
yeah, I don't know.
There's no denial in this game, so you can't like take it away.
Let's just face it, man. Pinatas are fun, and if they're filled with gold, unless you're standing underneath it when it opens, it's a good deal.
That gold's really heavy. Don't stand underneath gold.
Stand underneath a gold pinata. It's really gems of knowledge like this that make the broadcast worth tuning into.
Yeah, the golden shower just off the table.
Oh, no. Oh, you went there, didn't you? Wow.
I was just being literal, though. Don't mess with gold pinatas.
I will not ever do that. Thank you for clarifying that one.
Yeah, it was purely Pinata related.
Yeah, purely. That's the defense I always use. It was purely pinata related.
Your Honor, it was purely Pinata
That's right.
related.
I was pulled over for speeding when I drove a long time ago, and I was like, officer, it was purely pinata related. He's like, oh, aren't you the famous esports caster Doa? Please, go about your business. I was like, these aren't the droids you're looking for. Dragon, gonna be taken by EM Fire, I guess. Yep, there we go. I got it.
First the game, traded the turret in the top side for that.
Yep. Certainly did. Was it worth it? I don't know. Oh, Kuzan just going to TP back to mid. Been able to keep his turret alive for quite a while.
Well, it's a bit of a surprise considering that he has been away from his lane so frequently. Deciding to go for the Zhonya's Hourglass first, actually. So looking to hard engage with this Twisted Fate and provide the initiation for this Kalista and the Quinn, considering they don't actually have a tank line. But that means they have several forms of stasis right now with Bard to engage too. So,
oh, here we go. TF
fun to watch,
Ultimate
actually.
activated. They're going to try to make a play here. He's in the box. He's going to get the gold card in onto Guger anyway. Crush comes in. Hook doesn't connect with anyone. Kuzan in a lot of trouble. That was a bit of an off gank for Jin Air.
Well, your top laner does not have TP, remember, so he can't follow up on plays like that if Hippo has his teleport available. And it's all too easy to use that CC and come in a little bit later, especially when you're trying to gank in between two turrets. I would say, if you're going to be Jin Air, if you want to run this strategy, do not gank between two turrets with Twisted Fate if your top laner doesn't also have TP.
It's going to cost him a turret too.
Yeah, Crush can simply sit there and TP to the first turret and get in on any action that happens in that lane.
Shay got hooked. Actually, they saved the turret for the moment.
Yeah, they have no wave there though, so it's going to die.
Yeah, they're going to have to fight it if they want to save it. They will not do that. Looks like.
Yeah, TF is their only form of wave clear until Kalista gets Hurricane.
Yep. Oh, here we go. Wing coming in, gets pushed out immediately. Are they going to make a play on this? They do get crushed. Shay gets grabbed. Can they follow up again? Wing to going in, trying to help Trace get in position. They nearly kill Hippo.
Wow. Kuzan really got back in the nick of time to try and turn that one around. And EM Fire, they took too long to take that turret. They definitely could have taken it down and backed off faster. They were way too afraid.
And now it looks like Jin Air is going to be able to take the mid turret in response. And they'll get it.
Yeah, that situation could have been avoided, I think, by EM Fire with just a slight bit more commitment.
Yep.
With no wave clear there, you can just have Hippo tank a little bit of that damage and allow Soul and Crush and Edge to finish it off. I mean, look right here. Turn around, it's just too late. It already started. Edge gonna fire his laser backwards. But now that Kuzan's here, able just to run up, get a gold card off onto Guger, and push them all away by chunking them. They still have a full HP TF there to help push in the following wave. Pilot now going to push his way forward to that tier 1 and try and get a turret lead finally for Jin Air, who lagged a bit behind in that department this game. Trace is here to clear out the wave with his ultimate.
Yeah. Why do a bunch of arrows fall out of the sky when you let Valor go?
Because Valor is Pinata full of arrows.
I guess so. It was purely Pinata related, officer. Just bringing it right back around. I like it.
Yep, just looping it right back.
There's a lot of pinatas in League of Legends, aren't there? Oh, what do you know? I'm firing my laser. Nice Zhonyas.
Yeah, really interesting way to stop that damage. EM Fire turns their sights up to
Is it that interesting?
the Rift Herald. Really, almost anything in League of Legends can be explained through relationships to pinatas.
That's true. Well, a little bit of gold coming out of this turret pinata now. It's going to give a 3K gold lead now to Jin Air. Crush trying to make it out. Looks like he will.
Pops over the wall there.
Yep. He's confused Trace. And the push begins again from EM Fire. They still could take down that mid turret anytime they get close to it. Looks like it's going to be now.
Chasing him off,
Yep.
using the not twin shadows, the Frost Queen's claim.
Not anymore, man.
It's gone.
Twin Shadows is gone, and now Frost Queen's claim has Twin Shadows ability. Spooky ghost.
Ghost Pinata.
It's a ghost pinata. You hit it, you hit that button, and you knock the ghost right out of it. It's true. It's all pinata related. Oh, and there's a Bard out. Can Edge get to the? Yeah, he can. Never mind.
Meanwhile, Trace is up to some split pushing shenanigans.
Yep. Time to go behind enemy lines. I mean, back to my lanes. Whoa. Culling didn't connect too much, but one of the green casters got very excited about it.
Yeah, Culling probably not going to do much to a Lee Sin
I don't
with
think so.
his W up, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. We're looking for things. Like pinatas to be excited about. Lux has a light pinata.
I don't know if that works. Just like a lamp in it.
Whoa! Those ghosts were denied. What happens to
Interesting.
those ghosts at the end? They look like they die, but they're already dead.
They go into the ground.
Oh.
That's where ghosts live,
They just go underground back to the Frost Queen's claim.
I guess. What's she claiming anyway?
She's claiming that you can't. She's claiming that she knows somebody's around. She's like, I bet there's somebody around. I'm gonna send out these ghosts to find out. Like, yep, I thought so.
You've been discovered. Good thing they have a massive range.
That's right.
It's a pretty easy claim to make there, Frost Queen.
Yep. She doesn't like to take a lot of chances. That Frost Queen, whoever that is.
All right, so they picked the bottom lane for Trace to split push in here, which is the only one without a tier 2 in it, curiously enough. And now he's going to get his bird on.
Yep. I've heard the bird is the word, and I've heard that Neonfire is going to be able to take a pretty easy dragon here.
They're getting flanked.
Yeah, will they die in a team fight afterwards? That's the question. TF ult activated
Bard
Trace
ult is
coming
not
from
up.
the side, but you are right. Without that Bard up, it's tough to lock anyone down on Neonfire.
Well, they can zone them off the mid lane, but the wave just isn't there. That was pretty indecisive by Jin Air not to push up the mid wave at the same time. They could have actually got some pretty decent damage down if they had wanted to. Instead, they don't quite look like they know what they want to do, and so they get nothing in the end in exchange for that dragon, which is number 2 for EM Fire. And is it Baron time?
Uh-oh, I think it is. There's no vision at all for Neonfire right now.
Man, there are 2 people in base. EM Fire really dropped the ball here.
They're running fast. I think they know what's up, man.
It's too late. There's Callista and Quinn. You have to be more careful about this. Hey, thanks for the help, Lux.
Yeah. What a pal. And a Baron.
All too easy, honestly. They didn't have any vision. Here's
wow.
Hippo.
He TP'd for that, and it is
Well,
too
you
late.
have to, right? You have to.
I guess it's not as bad when your opposing top laner doesn't have a teleport either. But seems like it'll make the split push for Trace a little bit easier.
Oh, it certainly will. It certainly will. It's pretty bad, actually. And they're going to try and 5-man this mid lane, but nothing they can do. Wave's just not there. In position. Kuzan already back. And here we go, Bard ult.
All right, Bard ult doesn't hit anyone, but it does zone them closer to the side. Now, looking like there's going to be a fight, though.
Well, unfortunately, no follow-up from the Bard ult, even though it pushed the Empire closer. Didn't have anything there to catch them out. So Trace would like some more CS now.
Arrow Pinata.
Make a pinata full of arrows.
I don't know. It's like the Trojan horse, you know, where you make your what the hell am I trying to say? You make your enemy think it's a gift, right? Like, hey, here's this great pinata. You're like, thanks, man. I'm gonna hit it right now and see what. Oh no, it's filled with arrows. And you're like, ha! You have fallen for the old pinata filled with arrows trick.
And that's the Mexican version of the Iliad.
There you go. The Trojan pinata. It was a pinata filled with soldiers when it comes down to it, I guess.
There were probably arrows in there too.
That's true. I mean, I have seen horse-shaped pinatas, so. Checks out. Trace pushing in the top lane as we suspected he would, but it looks like Jin Air may have to give up their tier 2 in mid.
Well, they have to do something. Actually, Winged's going to cut the wave.
Yeah, okay.
That's actually really smart by Winged to deny this, because now they're in a position where Winged can stop the recalls, and there is really nobody here to defend either of these inhibitor turrets.
They have to run all the way back too. They can't recall.
There's a
coming
TP.
in. TF is going to help him take that turret down.
Oh, we're learning about why you don't 5-man rush mid while the enemy has a Baron.
I guess we are. Winged there just to make sure Kuzan and Trace can get away. He's there shouting encouragement. Now Pilot and Shade taking a chunk out of the bottom inhibitor turret.
Oh man, this is such a disaster.
Well, EM Fire seems pretty overwhelmed by the cross-map pressure right now from Jin Air.
It's hard for a new team to deal with this, but they're going to lose 2 inhibitor turrets. Oh! Oh!
Wow, they
the
got
final one.
You the real MVP, Cannon Minion.
Baron empowered Cannon Minion.
The true champion. You can't Q a turret. Oh, never mind. I know he was aiming for Crush. Just kidding.
Here we go. Last tier 2. Now in the sights of Jin Air, who took, what, 4 turrets off of that push.
Yep. Pretty good Baron for Jin Air. And a pretty thorough dismantling of EM Fire.
They really look lost in how to deal with this situation. And now I understand a bit about the Quinn ban in the first game. First off, Trace has done really well and taken a big advantage with it, even though he took Ignite instead of Teleport. But also, it's just given EM Fire the runaround. They haven't really been able to play against the speed or the pressure that the Quinn has brought to bear. It's really showing here. Trace now with a rapid-fire cannon and a Yomu's Ghost Blade.
Wow, well, that'll help a
Lob
little
out Mortius, so he will be smashing people if he ever duels somebody one-on-one.
Kuzan taking his own blue buff. Yeah, I don't think you want to mess with this Quinn right now.
No one can mess with the Quinn on the Empire. Fortunately, Hippo has his TP back, so at least he's not going to be totally unable to join his team in team fights on across the map like this Quinn has.
Yep.
But EM Fire, they just haven't really been able, besides answering that one dive that was foolishly made by Kuzan, they haven't been able to make the most out of the lack of teleport. And part of that was they didn't get the lane swap here. But part of that is also definitely they haven't been playing around with TP well enough to try and punish Trace. You have to set up the vision.
Oh, Winged, you're in trouble, buddy. Chase saves him with the Bard ult. It's only delaying the inevitable, though. Whoa, or is it? What an escape from Winged. Wow, that worked.
Yeah, W flash.
Oh, Kuzan.
Right away to escape.
Oh!
Oh!
Zhonya's! But still taken out. It was a nice attempt.
Well, Jin Air getting caught out. That's going to make
kinda
this
silly.
game take a while. Trace is going to take the Scuttle Crab and then probably solo the Dragon.
Yeah.
Or take it with the help of Winged. Actually, the Empire moving down there for number 3 possibly. As Sol and Guger are there, they're going to stand in the Crab vision. But they only have, maybe they would look for an inhibitor backdoor while this is going on, but Quinn actually just showing herself in the mid.
Didn't work out. Yep.
I think Quinn probably could have gone topside and taken an inhibitor right there, but it's okay.
You're okay with it?
2 inhibs still exposed. It's not, it is a risk to make a play like that. They can collapse on you quickly, or Nautilus can tie you up for enough time for his allies to get back.
Right. Oh. Tried to get there quickly, but it didn't happen.
Here we go, Yomu's popped, and that'll cause Crush to really back off.
Yep.
Baron up in another minute, and I'll be curious to see how Jin Air plays this one. If they're going to try and change the split push, so Kuzan is in the bottom lane and Quinn is up with the Baron, so they actually have some sort of pressure on the Baron. Otherwise, EM Fire with the TP available will be holding all of the cards.
Specifically, Kuzan will be the one
He's got all the cards.
holding cards, yeah.
But he only has 3 kinds of cards. Got a big deck with only 3 colors.
Doesn't change the fact that he's still got all of them.
What do you do with that deck of cards anyway?
play a really boring version of War, I guess.
Implying there's an exciting version of War, Noah.
Well, I suppose it's true. I can't argue with that. Oh. Hippo on the run.
Not a sentence you hear said very often.
This is esports. This is where you hear things like Hippo on the run. Trace. You wonder about sentences like that, and then you think, like, I wonder what the last human being on Earth was who said that.
I wonder that about you all the time.
Who
Noah.
was that? You know? Was I the first human to ever say that sentence? It's interesting. Oh, and the Empire going for a really desperate Baron.
But they have the TP advantage, so actually this is smart.
I guess they're going to lose an inhibitor for it. Oh, Bardal does not hit anybody. And they're backing away from that Baron. They're actually losing focus here. Can they steal it? He does! Wing gets the Baron steal, gets taken out.
Okay.
But now Trace has the Baron buff.
We're done here.
Oh, man.
That was the right play to make. And Hippo is
we're
going
really
to
done.
fall in the end.
Magical journey. Oh, he got hooked into the box, pulled out by the face call.
Meanwhile, Quinn is killing their base.
Yeah, and if they can stop the recalls long enough, he's going to be able to do a ton of damage. Actually, both Nexus turrets are gone now.
Quinn's going to win this game.
Yeah, Jin Air is just delaying. There goes the Nexus, and Trace just takes it out. Thanks for the Baron buff. GG, it's a 2-0, and Jin Air feeling good about that one.
What a weird end to that game.
Very bizarre. It was a bizarre match all around, man.
That was the right call. As crazy as that sounds, when you have the TP advantage, unfortunately they had already lost both of their inhibitor turrets, which made it a little bit easier for Jin Air to pull the win out of that. But you have to make some sort of play on the Baron, otherwise the Quinn is just going to wreck your Nautilus day in and day out, and you will lose that slowly and inevitably.
And maybe you just don't pick Nautilus, too.
Yeah, well, that was their intent. Nautilus got very far behind. They didn't get the lane swap that I believe they wanted early on.
Well, either way, it's a win for the Jin Air Green Wings, and another nice performance by Trace. It's got to feel nice when you're killing an inhibitor, suddenly you have the Baron buff and nobody's around, you're like, well, I guess I'll just win.
Trace has been amazing so far this season. This is not the top laner that I expected to see. Remember, for the summer season, this guy played nearly exclusively Maokai and Rumble, like literally only 2 champions until the playoffs where he played Malphite.
Yeah.
And he was solid, but he was known for his farming, his conservative laning, his ability to stay alive and trade CS in order to not be killed by... He was basically ungankable, but he would sacrifice and play a low economy style, which is in contrast to how he started his career as a top lane, super aggressive Rengar player. Now, we see Jin Air and maybe this more aggressive Trace coming back this year, and he's been carrying this team. He carried them on Graves. He carried them today, for sure.
He really
on
has.
Lysandra and on Quinn.
And it's a tough loss for EM Fire, but again, I mean, it's such a new team. You really can't expect a lot out of these guys. And I'll say it again, the way this team played today was the same as what we saw from MVP White and MVP Ozone way back when. And you never know. You never know where these guys are going to end up.
Well, I'm just surprised about Trace. We'll see how deep his champion pool runs. It's only been a couple of days, but he's absorbing a lot of target bans, and he's delivering in spite of that.
Yeah, it's a new Jin Air team. It's the same faces, but it's a new team, I feel like.
Excited to hear from Trace today, from his MVP in game number 1. Yeah. We're waiting here to see who the MVP of game number 2 is going to be.
I think it's going to be Trace again.
Well deserved.
Yeah, great performance on that Quinn. Just a great day overall, so getting the double MVP.
It's going to put him at number 1, actually. 300 points now, 2 today, 1 in game 2 versus SK Telecom.
Not bad.
So great job there from Trace, and it started right here on this turnaround with the Ignite.
I'm sure Winged is like, what do I need to do to get an MVP?
Yeah, Winged was kind of robbed in that game too. He played really well. And meanwhile, Kuzan comes here with the early TP. Luxon have control over mid, so poor communication from EM Fire on the possibility of the mid laner coming in on that gank. And here we go again, knock up, but the Ignite doing work, and that's not going to save you, Hippo.
No. Hippos are an endangered species in Summoner's Rift.
There we go. Kick from Winged. He's going to knock Crush up right there and get Trace yet another kill. Try and follow up. Just a little bit of indecision again on EM Fire's part. And, oh man, the Baron steal so clutch. And here's Trace. He just lets him TP. He's like, goodbye.
Yeah, he's like, well, I don't want you here either.
And great job by the rest of Jin Air for delaying the ports long enough for Trace to simply stand there and auto all the turrets remaining by the Nexus and the Nexus itself into a billion crystalline fragments.
It's a lot of fragments.
1 billion.
1 billion fragments. And so it's time for an MVP interview with the one, the only Trace. And Robin will be translating us, or translating for us. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Jin Air is currently on a high tide as they're reaping in victories. And let's meet Trace, the double MVP of the day. Congratulations. Jin Air seems to be getting stronger and stronger. Against all the other teams in the league, we always think, oh, we can win, but also we can lose. So yeah, I'm actually very glad that we were able to beat a lot of the teams, including SKT. Jin Air is really famous for winning against strong teams and losing against weak teams. Are you worried about this? Were you worried about this today? Yeah, we actually thought today's match was a little more important than the SKT match, particularly because of this jinx. So a lot of fans are thanking you for staying on Jin Air. For a while, you weren't communicating with the team, and then you joined. What happened? That trend was started by GBM, and I kind of took that up. Yeah, it became kind of like a ghost to the team for a while. You really aren't a ghost since you are the first in the MVP ladder right now. You have been practicing a lot of AD carries we hear, including Graves and Quinn. What other AD carries do you have prepared? I wanted to use Victor top lane, but our coach kind of stopped me from using it.
Give us your 6 strats, Trace.
Yeah, I don't. Excuse me, it was Misfortune, not Victor. I couldn't hear because of the crowd. But yeah, he wanted to choose Misfortune, but the coach stopped him. And in 6.1, she got a lot of nerfs, so he's like, oh yeah, I wasn't really going to play it. Today you used Ignite on Quinn instead of Teleport. Was there a reason for that? I wanted to pressure the lane a little more, so that's why I took Ignite with the kill pressure. And yeah, because I was able to snowball early in the game, it turned out to be a worthy investment. Next week, you are going against the Africa Freaks. What are your predictions? Yeah, again, about that jinx of Jin Air losing to weaker teams. I'm worried about that, so we will be preparing hard. And that's it for the interviews today. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks for the translating, Robin. And that is it, not only for the interviews, but also for our matches. Our first day of week 2 kind of ended up how we expected. We were thinking our first match could go to 3 games. It did in the end. Samsung getting the win there was cool to see. And then a quick 2-0 to finish off the day, but that was a great match.
Especially game 2.
Yeah.
Mistakes were made by Longju, but also you can't discount the comeback that Samsung made. They played out a really difficult situation about as well as you could, considering they were 2 inhibitors down. They managed to turtle and teamfight well long enough to take the victory.
And then a pretty easy victory for the Jin Air Green Wings over EM Fire. I mean, it's essentially rookies versus seasoned pros here, so I don't know what we're expecting.
Well, there are a lot of new players on Jin Air too, but they are performing better and better. And I think with Trace and Pilot and Che in there, Kuzan and Winged, who don't have as much experience at this level of competition, getting a helping hand.
Well, Samsung on top with 3 match wins already, +5. SKT, our world championships championship team down at 1-1. We'll see if they can pick it up a bit more this week. And tomorrow, KT versus Tigers. Wow, that is going to be an epic match. Two of the best teams in Korea right now, easily.
I mean, probably the teams that have looked the best so far. KT and ROX Tigers, very
I see
strong
some.
out of the coming out of the sewers, straight out of the sewers. It's
Back to
KT
Ninja
and
Turtles
ROX.
again. All right. And then Friday, Samsung versus SKT. That'll be a real test for Samsung now to see if they can take a chunk out of SK Telecom. The generic Green Wings did it. They'll be playing against the Afrika Freaks on Friday. And then on Saturday, Spenu Sonic Boom takes on EM Fire. And that should be a win for Spenu. We'll see if they can do it. Longzhou Gaming versus ROX Tigers. Also an interesting match depending on what happens between KT and the Tigers.
Yeah, really hard week for the Tigers.
Yeah.
Having to go up against Longzhou and KT.
Had to happen sometime, and maybe after the match today for Longzhou as well, some of their weaknesses have been exposed a bit more, and that might help the ROX Tigers coming into that match with a bit of an edge.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it for sure. And tomorrow, KT versus Tigers is going to be really interesting because KT's been playing for the late game, the split push, and in the one match we've seen from the Tigers, it was a giant bloodbath, early game brawl, all-in skirmishing, really exciting matches, very short matches too if you guys want to go check those out, but very different styles, so I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow night.
It'll be fun to watch, guys. Definitely catch it. See you then. Thanks for watching Champion Spring. See you tomorrow.